Hi friends, it's Erin. Welcome back to another bullet journal plan with me video for June 2022. I can't believe we're so far through the year. These two washi tapes are the basis for this entire theme. So basically it's just going to be blue and pink colors, lots of different paper textures. I wanted a lot of patterns, as you can see here. So I'm just going through my reserves of everything that I've already got and finding things that will tie into this color theme. As always, there are links in the description to everything that I'm using in this video if it is possible for you to also get it. So jump into the description if anything that I'm using catches your eye. Some of them are affiliate links, just so you know, and so if you use those links to make a purchase, I will make a little bit of money, which is very much appreciated. I actually started a completely different setup for June and it didn't go so well, so I started again. And I just wanted to mention that because I just wanted you to know that it's okay to mess up and start again if you want to. There are no rules around bullet journaling, that's the beauty of it. I also realized while I was editing this video that I completely forgot to include my content calendar, which is a really important spread for me, so I'm thinking I might actually live stream setting that one up over on my Instagram, so if you'd like to see that, it'll go just after my first weekly, which is a bit awkward, but that's okay, we're gonna go with it. Jump onto my Instagram, I am at erinsmith.art on Instagram, and there's a link in the description as well, and you can come and plan with me a little bit extra for June, just because I forgot about a bit. I wanted something really easy for June because at the moment, in the middle of May when I'm setting this up, things have been a little bit hectic. I've had a very busy couple of weeks, but I also really enjoy the process of setting my bullet journal up, so I didn't want to go too minimal on this one. I went quite minimal for me, at least for May, although it's not always everyone's idea of minimal, what I consider to be minimal, and you know, it's a spectrum. But I wanted to spend some time on it. So I actually put this setup together over the course of a whole morning, I guess. I did some stuff and then I went out and got a flu shot and then I came back and I did some more. So that's definitely a tip if you find the setting up process of your bullet journal a little bit too time consuming to do all in one go. Split it up into a couple of different sessions. You're allowed to do that. I'm just using the capital letter stamps that I picked up from Stationery Pal. If you'd like to see my haul of Stationery Pal goodies, I will pop a link to that up in the top right corner to put down a little quote. I don't always include a quote, but June is actually the beginning of winter here in Australia, and winter is my favorite season, my favorite time of year. I will probably say the same thing about spring when we get there, but for now I'm just really excited to be cold. So my quote is a sweet little winter themed quote. I had to search for quite a while to find a positive winter quote online because everything seems to be quite negative when it comes to winter, but I love being cold, so it took me a while, but I found this one. Winter forms our character and brings out our best. I thought that was very sweet. From Tom Allen. I don't know who Tom Allen is, but it's a very nice quote. These hydrangea stickers remind me of my grandmother, which is very nice. She had some in her garden when I was a kid, so it's a nice little kind of nod to my family. And I'm very excited to be finishing up these watercolor plants and flowers stickers that I got from Notebook Therapy ages ago. There's something really satisfying about finishing a sticker sheet, and finishing a sticker sheet is something that I am about to do, so that's very exciting. I knew I wanted to layer my heading for June over the top of this collage central piece here, but I wanted it to be bold so that it would stand out against all of those colors. So I'm turning to my little PHOMEMO MO2 mini printer and I've jumped on Canva. I picked a nice bold font that I like the look of. I set it to the hollow effect, and I'm going to use that for my June heading here because I didn't think I could hand letter something that would be even enough over the top of all of that texture. I just didn't think it would work. And the way the printing stickers work with these cuties is that they're much easier to peel off and then cut than to cut the shape that you want and then peel it off. So I've done that. And I'm going to use the same paint pen that I used for my winter quote here, which I haven't stuck down yet. Let's do that. I'm going to use that same paint pen to color in the lettering of June here. You just have to be a little bit careful. Make sure that you don't go over the black lines because an opaque paint pen like this will cover them up. So trying to stay just in the white spaces. And I'm just going to use my little Pigma Micron fine liner here to add some cute little plant doodles just springing out from behind everything. I don't know why I thought it needed these, but I stick to my decision. I think they do enhance the whole thing. I'm not always a cover page girl, let alone a double page spread cover page kind of girl, but I'm wanting to start a new bullet journal for the second half of 2022, and I don't have a huge number of pages left in my journal, but I do want to use up what I can. And I had enough to really go to town on a double page cover page and still have plenty of space left over for all of my weeklies, plus a few extras, which I'll probably end up using for pen swatches or something like that. Sometimes I like to mood board my layouts before I commit them to a video, so stuff like that. I really wasn't sure how this cover page was going to turn out when I started because I had obviously not planned for it, I'd planned for something else, but I'm really happy with it. I'm really stoked actually. On the next page, we've got my calendar, and I'm doing this quite differently to usual. So I've allowed a little bit of space on the left margin to add some washi tape, and I'm trying to line up this tape so that the pattern kind of continues as though it's one wide piece of tape rather than two pieces overlapping. I think it's worked pretty well. And then I'm doing a linear calendar this time, so instead of writing everything out with the weeks stacked on top of each other, instead the dates will go down the left side in these pink columns here, and I'm going to highlight the weekend days with a very pale, the 800 Tombow pink marker, which I do that quite a lot, highlight things with those colors, it's really nice. And I'm just going to write whatever I have on in the days in the space beside them. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Not sure my explanation made the most sense, but visually I think it probably tells you what I'm thinking. And I'm going to use my other June header here at the top of the page just so it's really clear what it is, because I don't like putting a heading that says calendar, because that just feels a bit redundant. And of course, we gotta decorate it before we stick it down. Didn't think it through all the way, did I? But that's okay. I've got some handy washi tape backing peel off part on the side here that I'm just using to temporarily stick that June heading down so that it'll be ready when I need to grab it. There are so many patterns going on here, and I kind of love it. It's not my usual thing, but I'm really enjoying myself. On the facing page, of course, as usual, I have my gratitude, goals, and currently sections, so I'm just going to line the top and the bottom with some more of the same washi tape from the left side. I've decided I'm going to freehand all of my lines this time around, mostly just because I'm lazy, to be totally honest with you. And I'm using a Sakura Pigma Micron 3. I only just recently jumped on the Pigma Micron train, and I totally get why everyone uses them in their bullet journal now. It's because they're waterproof. I can't believe I didn't know that for so long. So they don't smear and smudge around when you go over them with your markers or when you put watercolor over the top. If your journal gets rained on or you drop it in the bath, you won't have all of your, at least the black ink that you put down in Pigma Micron won't run, which is pretty cool. This next spread is one that was new to my journal last month. I had it as a single page last month, and I really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure if I would use it at all, and then I ended up loving it, and I'm calling it June Musings, just like last month I called it May Musings, because I think brain dump sounds ugly. And a few of you agreed with me in the comments, so thank you. Brain dump, ugliness, solidarity. I love you guys. Also, June Musings has a nice assonance to it. I like that. Flashbacks to high school poetry class. Once again, using my letter stamps to add the heading at the top here. I like using letter stamps with paint pens, because then you don't have to buy a whole bunch of ink pads and you still get the same effect, which is nice. But I do need to clean my letters because they were starting to get a bit goopy with some dried on paint, so definitely keep some cleaning stuff handy if you're gonna do the same thing that I do here. And of course, because I'm really enjoying myself with my collaging system here, we're gonna add some decoration too. If you are enjoying this video, then please do consider hitting subscribe and turning on notifications. I put up a new video every Monday, Australian time, and I would love to have you as part of my little internet family. It's really special to me that people want to watch me draw in a notebook, and honestly sometimes a little bit surreal, but I'm so grateful that you're here and watching and that you clicked on my video and have watched this much of it already, so thank you so much. And please do consider hitting subscribe and potentially following me on Instagram too, because I love the bullet journal thing and I like taking it across a couple of platforms. I'm not really doing it on TikTok though, because that's overwhelming. Ideally, the next spread is where my content calendar would have gone, for me to plan out all of my social media content for the month. But since I forgot, we're going on to my spending tracker for the next page, which is exactly the same as always. It never changes because it works really well. And until I think of a way that it might work better, if that happens, then it's just gonna stay exactly the same, because don't fix something that isn't broken, right? This is Mitsu, my lovely fluffy cat boy who loves to come and interrupt videos when he thinks he deserves his lunch. So I'm just going to give him a little tickle break and then we will carry on. These pages get really busy, so I always like to keep my decoration quite minimal here. So I'm just adding washi tape at the top and bottom, and a little bit of color to highlight headings. So yes, I do write down everything that I buy in the item section and categorize it and then add the cost, and at the end of the month I tally everything up by category and move it into my overall spending tracker, and then I have this crazy data that I can look back at and know exactly where my money went, which is really helpful actually. It makes you think twice before you buy something when you know you have to write it down. And on the facing page is my phone and sleep tracker, which similarly is just kind of a self-accountability thing. I really don't look back at these pages to see like how long I was sleeping for in February, because it doesn't matter, but just having to write it down keeps me accountable, and kind of seeing the data makes me go, oh, I've been using my phone more lately. Maybe I should set my app timers, or I've been getting to bed really late, so maybe it's time to try and have a reset and get to bed early tonight, and just helps me to try and stay on top of those things. They can get away from me if I'm not careful, so being self-employed and not really having a rigid schedule, it really helps me to know these things about myself so that I can keep myself from falling into some potentially negative self-employment working from home traps. I decided these pages needed just a little bit of something extra, but not too much. So I've grabbed out this roll of washi tape stickers. This is from the Washi Tape Shop, and it's part of their delicate floral wreaths set. I think the main point of this roll is supposed to be the sayings on it. It's got like affirmations, and they're very sweet, but they're not really my style. But I love the tiny little gold embellished flowers and leaves. They're just so cute. So I'm stacking a few of those on top of each other and just adding a little drop shadow to the spending page as well. And now we can move on to the next spread, which is my trackers. So on the left page, I'll have my habit trackers. I did a very similar setup last month, but I had only 6 trackers on the page, and this month I want to have space for 8. I haven't decided what the last 2 will be yet, but I know that I want to have 8. So I'm using my PHOMEMO printer again to make this little printout of a calendar that I'll use for my habit tracking. I made this in Canva. I just searched for one of their default calendar layouts, and then I added my own lettering to the top because I didn't like the font that they had for theirs, and I masked out some spaces so it would be the exact number of days for June 2022. So apparently, even when I'm trying to do things the easy way, I kind of do them the hard way anyway. And I've printed the same calendar 8 times, and I'm just going to stick those down on the page. I didn't really consider where I was going to put my heading for the page, and I guess I don't technically need one, but I do like to have a heading on the page, mostly just because I enjoy hand lettering. So we'll work that out soon. There is just enough space on the left side of the page for me to put down the narrower of the 2 washi tapes I've been using, so I've decided I'm going to add that there. It'll be a bit consistent with the previous pages, and I'm going to hand letter my habit tracker heading on top of the washi tape sideways. Quite proud of myself for this solution. I think that's going to work really well. That way we've got consistency with the previous spreads and also a little bit of decoration on the page, and I get to have my heading without it interfering with the functionality of the page. So quite proud of myself for that one. Once again, I think it needs a little bit of something extra, so I'm just grabbing some of my stickers out, wanting to make sure there's a good mix of pink and blue on the page. And then we'll move on to the mood tracker. I always like my mood trackers to have a little bit of an artistic element to them, so that even if I've had a really bad month, at the end of it, I've made something really pretty. And I've decided for consistency, we need some washi tape along the edge again, just to make sure that everything's tying in together. The way this mood tracker is going to work is I'm going to draw out a bunch of blobs in my theme colors, 30 of them to be precise because there are 30 days in June, just randomly spaced and randomly shaped for the most part. And I'm going to, for each day, add one of these little illustrations on top of those colored blobs that represents my mood. So I will have an illustration for a very good day, an illustration for a good day, an illustration for a kind of okay sort of day, and an illustration for a not so good day. And at the end of the month, I will have a cute little garden on my page, which is always very nice. The hardest part of a mood tracker like this, at least for me, is staggering the blobs in such a way that they don't look like they're in a grid. I think I did okay. They're a little gritty, but not super. And last but not least is my weekly spread, which is exactly the same as the weekly spread that I used in May, which is a variation on the weekly spread that I've used basically all the time since about June last year, so that's fun. I just really like it, and when it works for you, you don't want to change it, do you? Because it works really well. So on the left page, I'm drawing out 8 boxes here. These are for each day of the week plus 1, which I will fill in with washi tape. And in that space, I'll write down any events, any reminders, any date-specific things. And on the facing page is where the running task list goes. I like having a task list that goes throughout the whole week rather than one day at a time, just because if I don't get to something, then I don't have to migrate it. It can just stay there on the list. I think there is something called the Alistair method that's quite similar. I'm not especially subscribing to that. It's really just a to-do list, but I just like that it doesn't have to necessarily end at the end of the day. Of course, this space on the right side of the right page is for decoration, because what is a weekly spread for if not looking beautiful as well as being functional? And I thought it would be really fun to add that every second line highlight with my pale pink Tombow again. For the task list, I won't only write in the pink spaces, but it just gives a nice little bit of extra decoration while still being really subtle. So if you have any really pale pastel pens, I recommend that. It's a lot of fun. And with that, it is time to flip through June 2022 in my bullet journal. I've really enjoyed this setup and I hope you've enjoyed watching it too. Thank you so much for clicking on my video and spending this time with me. It really means the world to me, and I hope that you've taken something away from this video that might help you with your own bullet journal setup for June. Actually, if you do make something that is in any way inspired by this, I would absolutely love to see. Please do tag me on Instagram. Once again, I am at erinsmith.art. And now I'm gonna let you get back to your day or watch another video if you'd like. Until next week, I hope you have a super beautiful week, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye!